Good morning, Greg. Good morning.
Oh, shit. Do that again.
This kid's not ready. What's going on? No, we're leaving it in
Good
now.
morning.
How dare you?
Good morning.
What were you doing over there? So listen, today's episode was totally inspired by a conversation that I had with one of my friends. He teaches fourth grade, and his kid's got an assignment that said, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Now, when I was a kid, there was only a few acceptable answers to that question. It was like doctor, lawyer, professional athlete, teacher, or like an actor. Every so often you get a kid who says something smart like, oh, architect, and we didn't know what the fuck that was, so we were like, what? You're fucking gay. It was the late 90s, so that's how we handled anything that was remotely different. We just, called it gay. By the way, guess who wanted to be the architect? That was me. So yeah, I was called gay for having dreams. I remember one time a kid called me gay because I wore a helmet while riding my bike. But anyway, I found it really interesting that a lot of his students wanted to be like YouTubers or TikTokers or influencers, whatever they're called now. And honestly, that made me curious. I'm like, is it just this classroom, or is that like a popular career path right now? Are kids really being like, when I grow up, I'm going to be a YouTuber? So we did some research, and Greg, why don't you tell the people what we found?
So one poll surveyed kids between the ages of 6 and 17 and found that 52% of them want careers as YouTubers.
So 52% of kids would like to be an influencer when they grow up. And honestly, why wouldn't they? I mean, the people you see Jake Paul, Logan Paul, these people who are very famous, have a lot of money. They're driving around in sick cars. They're flying in private jets. They're dating people with fat asses and perfect pointy nipples. They got it all, baby. And the best part about this dream is that technically it can all be achieved from your bedroom. So obviously everyone goes, oh, yeah, I could do that. I'm interesting. And technically you could. You could be a fucking YouTuber if you wanted to. You don't need much. If you have a YouTube account, even if all your videos get 100 views, technically you're a YouTuber. And look, I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to be a creator, but as someone who's been doing this for over 10 years, I do think there are a couple of things that you should be aware of before embarking on your self-centered narcissistic journey. Fuck, that's a tough word. Number one, if you decide to be an influencer, then you're a psychopath. Just come to grips with the fact that you're nuts. And if you're not nuts yet, you will in fact be nuts in due time. I'll prove it. Do you know that there are multiple articles on the internet trying to figure out why we all watch our own Instagram stories multiple times a day? Because to be clear, right, whenever any of us are creating any sort of content, we are performing. You're not being 100% authentic in that moment. You're basically playing like a character that is based on your own life. And not only are you the main character in this world, but you're also the critic, and that's why you can't stop watching your Instagram story. It's called the looking glass theory, which is basically the idea that people's thoughts and opinions of themselves are completely contingent upon how others perceive them. Even yourself in this situation, because technically you are part of the audience. So not only is everyone else judging your every move, but you're also looking at your own shit as an audience member going, do I look cool? Do I look pretty? Is my life really awesome? How many times have you seen an influencer be like, this is my absolute favorite coffee mug? And you're like, Jesus, relax. It's just a mug. And maybe it is your favorite mug, but you would never communicate it in that way. That's what I mean by a performance. I don't think that everyone's just, full of shit. I think that the way that people deliver it is, whoa, like, I'm not even saying words, but you understand what I'm saying. So it's kind of crazy that we're like living our lives, exaggerating our lives, putting pretty filters over it, and then trying to convince not only other people, but our own self that we are good enough to post. It's really not surprising to me that when you poll teenagers and young adults, nearly half of them feel overwhelmed by social media as a whole. Also, not for nothing, but there's been multiple studies that link the rise of social media usage to the ridiculous rise of anxiety, depression, and what we're gonna call committing the big Susan. According to the CDC, the rate was pretty stable up until 2007, and then from 2007 to 2017, the rate increased by 56%. What caused this? We can't say for sure. But what I do know is that the iPhone came out in 2007, and social media platforms became pretty popular shortly after that. So it could be a weird coincidence, or there could be a link. But my point being, if you want to be an influencer, where you have to spend all this time on social media and desperately try to keep people's attention, then maybe you should be aware of these things. Number two, here's a thing to consider. You probably won't become Logan Paul. 97.5% of YouTubers will not make enough money to even reach the U.S. poverty line, which is a whopping $12,140. I know homeless people who live on the train and play drums on paint buckets who make more than that. Isn't that weird? 52% of kids want to chase a dream that more than likely will not be lucrative. Imagine asking a kid, like, what's your dream job? And he's like, I want to collect cans. You're like, this kid's a fucking idiot. What are you talking about? Go to school, dickhead.
We also found another study where only 11% of kids wanted to become astronauts.
Yeah, but that makes sense. I feel like 11% is too high, by the way. At no point in my life did I ever want to be an astronaut. How much did they even make?
I mean, Google's probably always wrong with net worth and salaries, but it says the average base salary is $112,000.
That's okay, but that's not enough for me to go to space, dude. You're gonna put me in a rocket ship? Wait, can I be an astronaut and not go to space?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, then maybe.
Just like a NASA guy.
Yeah, if I could just like work at the computers, but like I'm not going to space, bro. You're not sending me to space for $100,000. I won't go to space for $5 million a year. I won't. Number 3, there's an actual chance that real people will be completely pushed out of the influencer market altogether. I know that sounds crazy, but follow me. We've already seen examples of companies creating digital influencers, which, what the fuck are we doing? Like, why would they do that? There's literally a pig man influencer. It's a half man, half pig, like Instagrammer, with thousands of followers, by the way. Why is this a thing? Greg, pull up the Pigman. Just type in Pigman. It should pop up.
Yeah, this guy's name is John Pork. He's got over 17,000 followers.
17,000 followers? Also, fashion model. You're a pig. You're not a fashion model. You're a little pig man. And you're a DJ, apparently. And a Peaky Blinder? What is that? Well, look at this. Good for you. Good for you. Getting bitches. What the fuck are we doing? What's going on? Here he is in London. I don't know if this is a British pig or, an American pig. I don't know. But the pig is worldwide. We actually reached out to John Pork. On this matter. And unfortunately, neither him or his team got back to us. By the way, it's not just John Pork. John Pork. That just makes me laugh every time. There's a bunch of these fucking digital influencers already. Most notably, there was a digital rapper that a company made. What was his name? FN Mecca. Some company created this rapper named FN Mecca, and it got signed to Capitol Records. Capitol Records, guys. They have Katy Perry, Halsey, Louis Capaldi. I just realized all these names rhyme, by the way. What the fuck was that? Like, this is a major label, and they signed an artificial intelligence rapper, but it only lasted 10 days. He got dropped after 10 days because he was, like, using racial slurs and enforcing stereotypes or something. Even our computers are racist in this country. What the fuck? But all jokes aside, I really do think that AI influencers will be a real thing.
So you don't even know this, but there's a recent report. It estimates that as much as 90% of online content will be AI generated by 2026.
90%?
90%.
In 4 fucking years?
4 years. 90% synthetically generated.
What does that mean? It's going to be... Oh, my God. Bro, catfishing is going to be insane in the future. You're going to think you're talking to an actual person. It's just going to be like Pepsi. Dude, every fun app that has ever existed, Vine, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all these things, they were way more fun until they were just overrun with companies. Then you're like, oh, okay, this sucks now. We move on to the next thing. You don't think that they're going to create fake people? And listen, I know you're super engaged with your fans and you've built a community, but what makes you think that like Walmart won't immediately replace you for this AI influencer who they've created in a lab with all of our data to be the most likable and engaging person on social media? Once they figure out how to do that, we are gone. I think. I also think that they will be like, these influencers will be like undetectable. Like they will look like a real person, they'll talk like a real person, and we'll just have no idea. It actually could be happening right now. And honestly, a company has no reason not to do it. If the technology is there and they can create these fake people, which they can completely control and then use them to influence the kids and like get people to buy the stuff, like why wouldn't they do that? It's coming, folks. And now that I think about it, has anyone seen Logan Paul in person? I haven't. Could he be a hologram working for Big Pharma? Yes or yes? All jokes aside, this shit is gonna be crazy. There's already a video of Bella Hadid like kissing one of these things. Like, look at this video. What I want to know what she's kissing in real life. Like, is it a person in like a whole green getup, or is she kissing the air? Like, Now listen, I know I've said a lot of negative things about social media today, but I actually don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. Social media is probably one of the most useful tools we've ever created. Now more than ever, people can create jobs, whole companies, and find an audience out of thin air. You can stay connected to your fans, your customers, and your family members, even if they move to the fucking moon. You used to have to train birds and attach letters to their little legs and then send it to a person and hope to God it gets there. Have you ever tried to train a bird? I've had 2 birds in my life. Marty and Molly, both dead before their 3rd birthday. Now you just need like an email. I don't even think you need an email, honestly. I think you just need to sign up on these accounts and you could potentially have access to everyone in the world. So it's amazing. And not only that, but it's great for people to express themselves creatively and have the opportunity to turn that into a career. However, I think the biggest issue with social media is that people want to be known before they even know what they want to be known for. And if you don't know what you want to be known for, then maybe that means that you're willing to do anything and become anyone. Even if that person isn't actually who you are, and even if the things that you're doing don't even make you happy. It's pretty clear to me that most people who want to be an influencer are really after the attention that it brings more than anything. And I believe that if you're motivated by attention, then you're actually a prisoner. There will never be enough attention to satisfy you, and eventually you will do whatever you can to get more of it. Having your self-worth tied to random people's perception of you is a therapist's dream. You will eventually have to pay a therapist an uncomfortable amount of money just to feel like you're an actual person again. By the way, this is coming from someone who walked away from the peak of his popularity on YouTube. What do you think, I hate money and attention? I wish I had someone to warn me about this part of the job. And that's why I'm making this video. I'm hoping that the things that I've come to understand can help other people the same way that they've helped me. Like, I love this shit. And I don't think that you should avoid it. Having an audience and entertaining people is the fucking greatest. But it's nowhere near better than knowing who you actually are and knowing that you're actually fucking awesome no matter what the comments say. And that is why I am running for president in 2024 against Kanye West. Vote for me.